Hi everyone, thank you for watching this part of the video. In this lesson down here, we'll be looking at group frequency tables and extracting values and information from the group frequency table. Now, in general, a group frequency table is actually closely associated with that of a bar graph, right? Because a bar graph also represents certain data values and its frequency. Right, so in this case down here, you should not find the numbers or the question too different, okay, too unfamiliar. So now let's begin with what is a frequency table. A frequency table will will look at something, for example, like this in question 1. Okay, so question 1 says, Margaret keeps a record of all the marks that she collected, that she obtained for her mathematics assignments in a semester. Now, in this case, usually for group frequency table, we have a data value, and data value we usually call it to be letter X, and a frequency to be number 5, a letter F itself. Sorry. So in this case, which one is the data value? What is the data that she is collecting, that she's recording? She's recording all of the marks that she actually obtained. So the data value is actually the marks, which is the X data value. And what is the frequency of this data value? All these numbers, it means this is the frequency. So 5 marks for the assignment appears in 2 assignments. So 2 times like that. Right? So first part of the question says, how many assignments did Margaret complete in the semester? This is actually asking you for the total frequency, the sum of our frequency. This symbol is called the summation symbol. Okay, it means add up all the total frequency. So your total number of assignments or your total assignments will be given by 2 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8, so we add up all the frequency, plus 6 plus 4, and that gives me a total of 36 assignments. Okay, so that's my total frequency. Okay, so I have the total of 36 assignments. Next, state the modal mark. The modal mark is the mark that appears the most often on all the assignments, the one with the highest frequency. So in this case, the modal mark will be the frequency, the highest frequency is 9. So the modal mark on that frequency, on that assignment itself is actually 6 marks. So the modal mark will be 6 marks. Okay, find the median. How are we going to find the median? We know that there's a total of 36 assignments. So first, let's find the middle position. That will be 36 plus 1 divided by 2 to give me 18.5. So the 18th number and the 19th number. But then how are we going to calculate where is the 18th number and where is the 19th number? Right, so let's take a look. What are all the frequencies that we have? This is 2 assignments. This is 9 assignments. If I take 2 plus 9, that will already have 11 assignments. I want the 18th number, right? So I add another 7. That will give me 18th. Okay, the 18th position. So the 18th assignment, what is the grade, the number of marks for the 18th assignment? Oh, that is 7 marks. So the median will be to take the 18th and the 19th assignment marks and add them together, divide by 2. So that assignment will give you 7 marks. So if this is the 18th position, where will be the 19th position? The 19th position will be inside this interval, and this will be your mark for the 19th assignment. So an average, this will be 7 plus 8 divided by 2. Her median mark will be 7.5 marks. Okay, have you gotten the concept? So you need to calculate the frequency, you add up the frequency together, right? So here, this one is 36. Okay, next, calculate the mean mark. What is the mean mark? Mean is given by the sum of the data values, or rather summation of frequency times the data value over summation f. We already know there's a total of 36 data values. So what we're going to do, if you have your table, we're going to conveniently just add in one more column called f times x. So frequency with the data values. So 5 appears 2 times. 5 times 2 gives you a total score of 10. 6 times 9 gives you 54. 7 times 7, 49. 64, 54, 40. So this is all my f times x. Now I'm going to find the summation of my fx. So sum of fx, adding all the numbers here together. So I will have 10 plus 54 plus 49 plus 64 plus 54 plus 40. And that gives me 271. So my mean in this case will be summation fx, the total, 271 over summation f, which is 36. So 271 divided by 36. If the number is not a nice number, we can actually represent this one in fraction. Alright, this is 719 over 36 marks to be exact. But since it's the number of marks, sometimes it's also reasonable for you to approximate this to 7.53, 527, right? They round up to 3 marks, corrected to 3 significant figures. Okay, but if best, I will still prefer the exact value, which is in fraction. Alright, so this mean calculation of the mean is very important. It will definitely be tested in a similar way, either through group frequency table or through class intervals. Okay, so next part of the question, we're going to move on. If Margaret is going to represent this data on a pie chart, having a pie chart, a full pie chart itself is round. So pie chart has an angle of 360 degrees angle. So usually we have something similar. We have the data value, the number of the data, or rather it's looking at the frequency. Let's call it the frequency. Okay, and on the angle that it will represent. We know that there's a total frequency of 36. So the total frequency is 36. So 36 assignments represents a full angle, a full pie chart of 360 degrees. Now they want us to calculate the data on the pie chart. The angle of the sector represents the test mark of 8. So how many assignments did she get 8 marks? Well, there are 8 assignments out of 36 assignments. So there's 8 assignments. And we shall try to work out the value. This will be 8 divided by 36 times 360. So 8 over 36 times 360 to give you a value of, I got exactly 80 degrees. So the angle that will represent this set of data value will be 80 degrees. So this is a sample of how do you use the data values from a table to calculate the mode, the median, and the mean. Especially the mean itself, please remember this type of calculations and the working for it. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next question. Question number 2. Take a look at this diagram over here. This is actually represented in a bar chart. The bar chart shows the number of siblings a class of children have. So which one is actually, we got a lot of numbers here, right? Which is the actual data that we are collecting? The data that we are collecting is the number of siblings. So this data will be the X value. And where is the whole bar? This one will be a frequency date value. If you were to read this, you can actually represent this bar graph into a table with X and F, but it's not necessary to be writing it down like that. So the 0 siblings appears 8 times. 1 sibling appears 10 times. You see the frequency. And next one, 2 siblings appears 6 times. 3 siblings appears 4 times, frequency of 4, and 4 siblings has a frequency of 2. So if you were to really portray this actually can be formed into a frequency table itself, but the frequency table is represented in the form of a bar graph. So you have to know which is the data value, which is the frequency. Calculate the mean, find the mean number of siblings that the students have in class. So mean is given by summation of fx over summation of f. Sum of the data values. So we need a fx over here. So I'm going to calculate f times x, which is 0 times 8. 0 times 8 is 0, right? 1 times 10 gives you 10 siblings. 2 times 6 gives you 12. 3 times 4, 12. 4 times 2, 8. So the summation of the frequency times the data value, the total data value, will be 0 plus 10 plus 12 plus 12 plus 88. Oops. Right? And that gives me 42. Right? What is the total frequency? The total frequency is 8 plus 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2, a 30. Right, a total frequency value of 30. So how do we find the mean? In this case, the mean will be 42. Sorry, right, wrongly. 42 over the total frequency, 30. Now, some students may tell me, sure, this is the number of siblings. Okay, my exact answer is 1.4. You mean to tell me that there can be 1.4 siblings? Oh, can we round this down to 1 sibling, or we round it up to 2 siblings? The answer is no. This is a statistical average. 1.4 siblings, alright, although it's not practical to have such a number in real life, but 1.4 siblings actually tell us the value is the common number of siblings is between 1 to 2, and is nearer to 1.4 on the lower side rather than compared to 2. So this 1.4 is actually important. You leave it as the exact value. Do not round up or round down to the nearest integer. Leave it as 1.4. Okay? Next part, find the median number of siblings that the students have in the class. I already know my total frequency is 30. So I'm going to use to find my middle position first. So the middle position will be 30 plus 1 divided by 2. That gives me 15.5. So I need to find the value for my 15 number and my 16 number, our median. Alright, so where's the 15 number? Let's see. Let's take a look at our frequency. I have 8 students down here. Then the next interval, next frequency is 10. So total for these two, right, I already have 18 students, or 18 frequency of 18. I want to find the 15 and the 16 number. Where's the 15 and the 16 number? The 15 and 16 number is inside this people here, right? This 10 group of 10 here. And how many siblings do they have? Both the 15 person and the 16 person have a sibling, one sibling. So in this case, the median over here is 1 sibling. Right? Because 1 plus 1 divided by 2 is still 1. Have you gotten the concept? Now, next part of the question, we're going to look at if the information is represented on a pie chart. Again, you're going to have a pie chart. So we know that the total frequency is 30 students, okay? Represented 360, a full circle. Calculate the angle of the sector that represents people with 2 siblings. How many people has 2 siblings? The one with 2 siblings, there are 6 of them. So 6 students have 2 siblings. So I want to find 6 students, and that angle will be given by 6 divided by 30 times 360. And that gives me a value of 72 degrees. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, next part of the question. Now, in the last two examples, we all have frequency table where all the different data values are given. But now in the next two examples, we'll be looking at this type of question where you notice that there is actually algebra, there's some unknown inside your data, frequency data itself. So in this case, we'll need to work with algebra and we need a little bit of skills, for example, on forming equations, cross multiplying the equation, and then solving for the values itself. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, question number 3. Inside this question here, drone spins the spinner n times, it means a number of times, I do not know what's n, the total number. Alright, and it records the results in the frequency table. What is this data that is actually recording? The data that's being recorded is actually the number that's on display. So we know that this is actually our x value. And then we have our frequency value over here. So now when we want to do such calculations or whichever involving this type of questions, the first thing that we really need to do is to express whatever that we need to know in terms of algebra. Alright, so first one, usually they will need to know what is the total frequency. So that is your summation F. Total frequency meaning I need to add up all the data values over here. So I take 8 plus 4 plus 5 plus m plus 2. And I'll get an expression. 8 plus 4 plus 5 plus 2, that gives me 19. So that will be 19 plus a value, m itself. So this is my frequency, total frequency. Okay, next, let's look at the question. What is the data information that we are given? The question gives me that the mean is equals to 2.6. The mean is 2.6. What do you mean by the mean is 2.6? Mean is given by summation fx over summation f. And this value is equals to 2.6. Well, maybe we are not going to work with fraction. We are going to work a little bit with decimal place. So first, we need to know what is summation f, the fx. Okay, I already found my total frequency over here. My total frequency, instead of doing that, my total frequency is actually m plus 19. So the next data value I need to find out is to find f times x. Frequency times my data value. Take the frequency times the data value. So I need to find the total. So in this case, I will draw one more column at the bottom and one more row at the bottom, f times x. So 1 times 8 gives me 8. 2 times 4, 8. 3 times 5, 15. M times 4. What is this in algebra? M times 4. 4m. Then this one is 5 times 2, 10. So what do you know about our total sum of our frequency times the data value? I'm going to add all these numbers up. 8 plus 8 plus 15 plus 10, that gives me 41, and I need to add the 4m, so 41 plus 4m over here. Okay, let me plug this value, okay, back into our equation out that we have formed, our calculation using the formula. So summation fx, which is the frequency times the data value, 41 plus 4m, divide by your total frequency, which is 19 plus m, is equals to the data value 2.6. Well, we can put this as 2.6 over 1, then we cross multiply the data value, the number. So on this side, 41 plus 4m is equals to 19 times 2.6. This gives me 49.4 plus 2.6m. Okay, so remember to cross multiply correctly. Then next part of the question, we are going to find what is m. So I'll have 4m over here and bring this over. This will be minus 2.6m. The number that's original here is 49.4. Then I bring this over, it will be subtract 41. Okay, let me do the calculations for both sides. 4 unit minus 2.6 units give me 1.4 units of m. 49.4 minus 41 gives me 8.4. Then now I'm going to divide away 1.4 and get the number 6. So what is the value for m? M is the value 6. Okay, so I'm going to plug 6 into my table. Right? But this question, this m, right, is only for this part, this portion here. Part 1, part 2, when they say that it's the median. Okay, the m is the mean. So I found m to be 6. I'm going to plug it inside. Now they ask me to calculate the total number of spins. What's the frequency, total frequency? 19 plus m, right? So we are going to use 19 plus m. M is now the value 6, which gives me 25. So the total number of spins will be 25 spins. Next question, find the median of the distribution. The median, so before I find the median, we need to find the middle position. Okay, the middle position will be 25 plus 1 divided by 2. 26 divided by 2, that gives me the number 13th. So I want the 13th number. So I'm going to look for our median, the 13th number. Where is the 13th number? Okay, let's take a look at our frequency. I have 8 over here. 8 plus another 4, I have a total of 12. So that means my middle number, my median, must be inside, the 13 number must be inside here. And what's the number that it displayed? The number is number 3. So in this case, the median will be the value 3. Have you gotten the concept? Now, this part of the working here, this question is very commonly asked, one of the popular questions asked by teachers. So please make sure you know how to do this working. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Question number 4. Inside this question, you notice again there's a missing data value over here. X is in terms of algebra, so probably we need to do some interpretations or from equations and cross multiply and solve equations, so just bear in mind. Now question A, part A say write down the largest possible values of x given that the mode is 1. Write down the largest possible value given that the mode is 1. It's only for this part A, this case, right, if the mode is 1. If the mode is the number 1, the frequency for number of programs watched is 11. So 1 has to have the highest frequency. So 11 must be the highest frequency. And what can x be? So x cannot be 11, right? If x is also 11, then the mode will become 3. So the largest possible value for the x is just 10, right? Next, write down the largest possible value of x given that the median is 1. Wow, just now I found x is 10, but is that going to be the value for this question? No, it's a new different case. So if the median is 1, right, middle position, I'm going to look at my middle position. My median is 1, right? So my middle position will happen to be among these 11 people. So let's take a look at our question over here. I have on my left hand side starting with 9 people, 9 person, 11 person who watch one program, 5 person, and X people, X number of person who watches 3 programs. Given that the median is 1, that means the median is among these 11 people. I can have 2 different cases. I can take the first person to be the middleman and I'm left with 10 on the other side. Okay. Or I can have my second case where I can take the first number, the last number to be the largest number. So let me look at the second case. Last person to be the largest number, and I removed it. This one will have 10 people on my left hand side. So let's take a look. Which case will I get x to be large? Right? If I were to start with the first person to have be the middleman, if he's in the middleman, then the left hand side and the right hand side must balance with each other. What do you notice? There's already 9 and there's a 10. And I want x to be as large as possible. This question, in this case, it doesn't balance. So we cannot choose the first person to be the middleman. So now what we have to do, we have to choose the last person as our middleman. Okay, choosing the last person to be the middleman, you take him out to be the middleman already, so he cannot be included in the balance, right, in the left hand side and the right hand side, because it's running right in the middle. So that means I have to take him out, and then on my left hand side I will be left with 10 person here, and not forgetting the number 9, so 9 person. So there will be 9 plus 10, 19 people on my left hand side. How many people will there be on my right hand side? I will have 5 and another x. So in this case, what do we have? We have 19. This 1 is now, the left hand side must be equals to the right hand side. So the 1 is not included. So this is 5 plus x. And hence we solve for the value. What plus 5 will give you 19. So x will be equals to 14. Okay, so for this part of the question, please take note. If you do not understand, please watch the video again or see me for consultation. Alright, this question very important. Please take note. Okay. Next question, we are going to find the mean. Find the mean. Given that the mean is 1.2, find the value for x. As usual, the formula for the mean is summation fx over summation f. This value is equals to 1.2. That's what they tell me. But first, let me find what is the summation of the frequency. Where is the frequency? Now, this is my x value, the data that I collected. This is the frequency itself. So I'm going to find summation, sum up all my frequency. Sum of frequency, 9 plus 11 plus 5 plus x. 9 plus 11 plus 5, that's 25. Plus another x. That's my summation of the frequency. Right? So I have sum of fx as f. I need next the summation f times x. I need the total data value. So that will be f times x. I'm going to multiply them together. 0 times 9 is 0. There are common mistakes. People write it as 9. Then next one, 1 times 11, 11. 2 times 5, 10. 3 times x. This will be 3x. The total sum of frequency times the data value, so the sum of all the data value will be 0 plus 11 plus 10 plus 3x. So 0 plus 11 plus 10 will give me 21 plus 3x. So down here we have the total frequency 21 plus 3, total summation fx 21 plus 3x. So I'm going to replace this 21 plus 3x over my total frequency 25 plus x. And this whole thing is equals to 1.2. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to work in decimal, and then we're going to do a cross multiplication. Cross multiplying, the equal sign stays in the center. This is 21 plus 3x. This is 25 times 1.2, 30, plus 1.2 times x, 1.2x. rearranging our x value, so 3x minus 1.2x equals to 30. I bring over the 21 minus 21. And I'll get 3 minus 1.2 is 1.8. Right? And 30 minus 21 is the number 9. Now I want to get what's the value for x. I'm going to divide by 1.8. So 9 divided by 1.8, that gives me the number 5. Okay, so the value for x is 5. Have you gotten the concept? Now you notice that this question is being repeated a few times across different types of questions. So one of the more standard type of questions. So please study for this. Alright, with that we come to the end of this part of today's lesson. I'll see you for the next lesson. Bye bye.